ever dreamed of living in a tropical paradise? Or imagine what it would be like to live on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Why not spend the winter basking in the warmth of the tropical sun, your skin caressed by cool trade wind breezes? Would you like to wake each morning to the sound of the surf and take a walk on the beach every day?
You can enjoy these pleasures and more here in our island paradise. Aloha and welcome to Maui. My name is David.
And I am Leilani. We'll be your guides during this video tour of Maui County.
I moved here many years ago from the mainland U.S. and I love it. Maui is my new home.
I have lived here all my life, and I want to share with you some of the history of this island and the people who live here.
In fact, all the people that helped make this movie are residents of Maui, so we can well understand your interests. Consider the attractions. You can find properties for sale that are just a short walk from golf courses, mountain trails, or idyllic beaches.
Our island society is comfortably integrated, and we enjoy great cultural diversity in everyday life.
We have a nearly perfect climate throughout the year.
Who wouldn't be interested in spending at least part of their life here? You're no doubt watching this video because you've been charmed by Maui. Perhaps you want to know more about owning a vacation property. Maybe you're even considering living on Maui part-time or full-time.
We've prepared a lot of information, and in order to deliver it in an efficient manner, we're going to use a bit of futuristic computer technology to help us out. This is a virtual real estate guru and information locator.
I just call it Virgil.
Okay, Leilani. Virgil, access program real estate Maui style.
One moment, please, David and Leilani. I'm allocating memory. Whoa, it's bright out here. Greetings! If you'll keep the sand and water off me, I'll provide anything you want from my database. I love exercising my database. First, we'll touch on some of the history of the islands, the Hawaiian people, and Maui County in particular, so that you have a glimpse of the community's origins and local geography. We'll look closely at the 5 major districts on the island of Maui, with examples of the community resources, housing options, and amenities found in each district. You'll also get specific notes about local weather. Then we'll finish up by touching on some issues relating to the purchase of real property here to assist your further research.
Thank you, Virgil, and welcome along. Now, would you please show us a bit about how these beautiful islands came into being?
Thank you, Leilani. I'd be delighted. The Hawaiian Islands are the most geographically remote landmass on Earth. This island chain started forming over 25 million years ago, as the Earth's tectonic plates moved slowly over a volcanic hotspot, causing a new island to pop up every few million years or so. Starting at Kure Atoll, the Hawaiian archipelago stretches 1,500 miles south, all the way down to the Big Island of Hawaii, the only island where volcanoes are active today. These islands are 2,400 miles from the west coast of the mainland U.S., and also 2,400 miles from the probable origin of the Hawaiian people, the Marquesas Islands in the South Pacific. In a Polynesian canoe, the trip from South Pacific Islands was an arduous voyage lasting for weeks. In a modern jetliner with a decent tailwind, it's about a 4.5-hour trip. 99% of the total land area of this chain is to be found in its 8 major islands. These are Ni'ihau, Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, Lanai, Kaho'olawe, Maui, and Hawaii. The tallest peaks rise 13,000 feet above sea level on the Big Island and 10,000 feet on Maui at Haleakala. These islands actually rise about 6 miles from the surrounding ocean floor, making them some of the most prominent individual features on Earth. The Polynesians became accomplished boat builders and excellent navigators. Over a span of many generations, they discovered all the inhabitable islands within a huge area of the Pacific Ocean called the Polynesian Triangle.
And they accomplished this long before the famous European explorers with their great ships dared to venture beyond coastal waters.
Imagine accomplishing this feat using only the signs available in the sky and the waves. No instruments, no compass, not even a written language.
Virgil, show us what was happening in Europe while the early Polynesians were settling these islands.
Sorry, Dave, I can't show you a thing. That was around 750 AD, and Europe was mired in the Dark Ages.
Okay, Virgil, very cute. Now please run that history sequence that we prepared. The Polynesian voyagers who first discovered the Hawaiian Islands took great risks to find new lands. Sharing space in their canoes were the staples of their existence. They introduced pigs, dogs, and chickens to the islands. They also brought breadfruit, bananas, sweet potatoes, and taro, which they cultivated with great skill. They were not only accomplished fishermen using hooks and nets, but they also developed fish ponds to ensure a steady supply. Stone, wood, and thatch were used to build homes and temples, or heiaus. Consolidation of power between different ruling chiefs was accomplished through treaty, marriage, and war. In 1810, Kamehameha the Great united the islands of Hawaii for the first time under one rule. But even as the Hawaiian nation was first consolidated, the Hawaiian culture was already undergoing great change resulting from the influence of the Western world. Once the first European ships returned home with tales of newly discovered islands and fresh opportunities, things started to change quickly in old Hawaii. There was lots of trading. From many countries there came sailors and scoundrels, pioneers, profiteers, merchants, and missionaries. Some came for souls and others for sandalwood. Okay, Virgil, what came next?
Well, Leilani, whales became the next big commercial target. At the peak of whaling activity in 1846, over 100 whaling ships were anchored in the calm waters off Old Lahaina town at the same time. During those days, Lahaina was an even greater center of influence than Honolulu. In 1859, oil was discovered in Pennsylvania, and the steady stream of economic activity associated with the whaling industry diminished. The large-scale cultivation and processing of sugarcane became the economic engine of the islands, encouraging a steady Western-style investment and a keen demand for land ownership. Plantation activity attracted a large number of immigrant laborers from many countries around the world. These varied ethnic groups have contributed greatly to the diverse cultural heritage we enjoy in Hawaii today. In 1887, the powerful American business interests in Hawaii persuaded King David Kalakaua to sign the Bayonet Constitution, which left them in power and the king as a figurehead. King Kalakaua's successor, Queen Liliuokalani, was deposed in 1893 by these same big business interests, and a new republic was formed. The republic was eventually annexed and became a territory of the United States. The strategic military value of the Hawaiian Islands has provided steady federal government spending and related economic growth. In 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state.
The Hawaiian culture was largely absorbed as Western civilization expanded into the Pacific region. Fortunately, there is still a small core of Hawaiian descendants and their friends who work to preserve as much as possible of the rich traditions, culture, and language of the island's indigenous people. Your understanding of local customs and rich traditions of Hawaii will greatly enhance your enjoyment of these islands.
Modern Hawaii is a very different place from old Hawaii. Imagine the incredible transition from a society without metals to a society immersed in the global village and the information age. It happened here within just a couple of centuries. Virgil, would you display the State of Hawaii file?
Sure, David. The most current information in my database indicates that the state of Hawaii has over 1 million permanent residents and, at any point in time, between 140,000 and 160,000 visitors. The population is spread among Hawaii's 4 counties, like this. Maui County contains about 10% of the state's population. On the island of Oahu, the state capital and principal port of entry is Honolulu. About 70% of the state's population lives here. Hawaii is a beautiful place to live, and the population is growing. One of the biggest reasons is the near-perfect climate. We owe our moderate environment to 3 basic forces. First, our location near the Tropic of Cancer places us in the tropics, with day lengths ranging between 11 hours in the winter to 13 hours in the summer. Second, the Pacific Ocean itself is an enormous moderating force, whose surface temperatures around Hawaii stay within a narrow range between 74 and 80 degrees. The vast expanse of ocean surrounding the islands warms up the cold air masses coming from the north. And finally, the dominant flow of air in our direction is called the trade winds, which are produced by a persistent high-pressure area stationed much of the time to the northeast. In the summer, these winds from the north and east are present about 90% of the time. The side of any island most exposed to trade winds is known as the windward side. The opposite south and west facing sides are referred to as leeward areas. The trade winds are a blessing. They keep fresh air coming our way and deposit a wealth of clean, precious water on north and east facing slopes. While most parts of Hawaii receive a lot of year-round sunshine, a resident who wants to sunbathe daily might not be completely happy with a home site on a windier, rainier northern shore. On the other hand, someone who wants a lush garden, more moderate temperatures, or lots of windsurfing may well prefer a home there.
It's not hard to see why the majority of resort development has focused on the sunnier, drier sides of the islands. As a visitor with only 10 days to spend on vacation, you'll most likely stay where you can find the most reliable sunshine. Now that you have the big picture of Hawaii's place on the globe, let's move in closer and focus on Maui County. Virgil, show us the Molokai file.
Sure, David. Maui County includes the inhabited islands of Maui, Molokai, and Lanai, and the uninhabited island of Kaho'olawe. Molokai, the friendly island, is primarily engaged in agriculture and cattle ranching. With less than 1% of the state's population, it is far less developed than most of the other islands. The availability of shopping, schools, entertainment, and other sophisticated amenities is limited. Molokai might be just perfect for someone who wants to study and nurture a quiet lifestyle more similar to those of old Hawaii. When the folks on Molokai want to do some serious shopping, take in some movies, or enjoy more variety in restaurants and nightlife, they get on a plane or a seagoing ferry and visit Maui or Oahu. Scheduled airline service, rental cars, and hotel accommodations are all available.
Although we will not explore Molokai in depth today, you may want to experience it yourself on your next visit to our state. Virgil, will you display our brief visit to the Pineapple Island of Lanai?
Lanai's population is also less than 1% of the state total, and there are churches, a school, and very modest shopping. The amenities are quite limited. Sanford Dole was one of the architects of change in old Hawaii, and the Lanai Company now owns 98% of Lanai. For decades, this island society has centered upon Dole's pineapple plantation, which has provided the majority of jobs and housing here. In just the last few years, pineapple cultivation has drastically reduced, and the island's economic focus has shifted to alternative agricultural products and tourism. There are 2 new luxury resorts located here, both of which feature fabulous golf courses. The Manele Bay Hotel is situated on the south shore of Lanai, on one of the most pristine beaches in the state. The Lodge at Koele is located outside Lanai City and nestled on the western slopes of Lanai's tallest peak. It exudes an ambience and charm that differs from other resorts in Hawaii. Quality townhomes are being built right on the golf course here at Koele. If you want to be off the beaten path in your retirement or second home lifestyle, and still want to enjoy excellent golfing, tennis, and Hawaii's great beaches, Lanai could be very attractive to you. Scheduled airline service and car rentals are available, and a high-speed water shuttle operates daily between Lanai and Maui.
Your overview of the islands was great, Virgil. Thanks. Because most of the housing, employment, shopping, and resort opportunities are located on Maui, we will devote most of our time to real estate on the Valley Isle.
We will start our view of Maui from its highest point, at the top of Haleakala, the House of the Sun.
Let's head to my Jeep. We'll see you at the top of the island. This is a great place to start your orientation to Maui and its major features. Later, when you find yourself driving around on Maui and looking for specific destinations, you'll be glad you have a mental map.
The island of Maui was once 2 separate volcanic peaks, which through erosion and gentle lava flows have grown together, joined by the Central Valley. Display Maui, Virgil. Pu'ukukui tops the West Maui Mountains, and Haleakala, the newer formation, makes up the largest portion of the island. Classified as a dormant volcano and silent since 1790, Haleakala's summit is prized by astronomers for its clean view through Earth's atmosphere to the heavens.
Looking to the north, towards Alaska, you see the vast expanse of the northern Pacific Ocean from which our trade winds blow. Turning to the northwest, Central Maui is the home of approximately 35% of the island's permanent residents. Kahului is the transportation, industrial, and commercial center for Maui, while Wailuku is the hub of the county government and the center of legal and judicial activity and contains many residential neighborhoods. Continuing our turn, we jump over the West Maui Mountains to the old whaling capital of Lahaina. You can see Molokai and Lanai in the distance. Next we see Maalaea Bay, one of the most important birthing places for the humpback whale, and now established as a sanctuary. Further down along the shore to the west of our position are the communities of Kihei, Wailea, and Makena. There is an emphasis on resort activity here on this sunnier and drier side of Maui. Kaho'olawe and Molokini are visible nearby. Continuing our circle to the east through the sparsely populated southern end of the mountain, we arrive at the most isolated and least developed Maui district of Hana. The peaks of the Big Island are visible to the southwest. Rounding the north shore, heading westward, we pass through the sparsely populated coastal communities, arriving at Lower Haiku and Paia, the mecca of the windsurfing world. And below us, on the western flanks of Haleakala, we will find the region of Maui known as Upcountry. Now that we have a broad overview of Maui and its principal communities, let's get into more detail about each neighborhood.
David, why didn't you bring a regular car? The one with the windows that close and a heater?
I know it's cold now, but you'll be glad later, I promise. Why don't we let Virgil describe the upcountry area while we navigate this winding road?
Good idea. Are you ready, Virgil?
I'm all set, Leilani. While Leilani and David head down the mountain, let me fill you in on a few interesting facts. Maui is a large island, about 48 miles by 26 miles in dimension. Residents in densely populated areas obtain electricity from oil and steam-fired generators, and their sewage is treated by modern plants. County water comes from catchment reservoirs and wells, and many homes, like those in the upcountry area we are about to explore, are on septic systems. The term upcountry is used to encompass the communities of Ulupalakua, Kula, Pukalani, Makawao, Olinda, and Haiku. About 1/4 of Maui's permanent residents reside on the mountain. There are several churches, public and private schools, 3 multi-story shopping areas, 2 fire stations, and 4 post offices. Most of this large and geographically diverse region is zoned agricultural. At the lower elevations, the big companies grow pineapple and sugarcane. At higher elevations on smaller farms, many food and flower crops are cultivated. The climate above 2,500 feet is decidedly different from that which most people associate with Maui. As you move higher in elevation, the average daytime temperatures drop by up to 10 degrees or more, with an even bigger difference during winter nights. Many crops which will not grow well near sea level adore this climate. In addition to our famous Kula onions, you will find sweet corn, cabbage, and many other vegetables and fruits. The conditions here are especially suited to the tastes of the exotic protea flowers, which are very particular about where they will grow. Remember the relationship between higher rainfall and the windward sides of the island? Locations on the windward side of Haleakala will receive more wind and rain than locations in the central or leeward end of the range. Rainfall varies from about 20 inches a year at the leeward end of this region near Ulupalakua to about 75 inches per year in the wetter windward parts of the area around Haiku. In the Kula area, the range is from about 15 inches per year at lower elevations to about 35 inches at higher elevations. In areas exposed to predominant trade winds, there are frequent breezes. Much of the mountain from Kula on out to the leeward end of the region is sheltered from the trade winds. Variations in local terrain can yield big differences in the strength and persistence of these winds.
Spectacular ocean and mountain views are a common benefit of living upcountry. Generally, it is also quieter, cooler, and less affected by traffic than portions of the island closer to sea level. In the winter, folks living above 3,000 feet elevation really appreciate having a fireplace in their home.
It never gets really cold by mainland standards, but for long-time sea-level residents like Leilani, a 45-degree night is roughing it.
Here in Kula, you will find 1 or 2 restaurants, a hardware store and nursery, a country grocery store, botanical gardens, and several beautiful parks. From most parts of Kula, the drive into Kahului is about 30 minutes long. Tell us about the types of properties we'll find here, Virgil.
There are plenty of single-family homes. They range from small plantation-style homes to large modern family compounds. Lot sizes range from a quarter acre to many acres. There are also subdivisions containing modern single-family homes in conventional neighborhoods. Some, but not all, housing subdivisions on Maui involve restrictive covenants and homeowners associations. These may appeal to homeowners who prefer certain standards for the appearance and environment in the neighborhood. Those with dreams of building their own home will find a broad selection of vacant lots and parcels. As we continue our descent toward the North Shore, we pass through the community of Pukalani. Immediately beyond is the town of Makawao. Nestled between 1,600 and 1,800 feet, these areas offer a wide variety of medium-density single-family housing. There is commercial space, agricultural activity, and many residential neighborhoods closely mixed throughout these communities. The upcountry area offers a good example of the big difference that can exist in weather over a short distance. Pukalani gets about half the annual rainfall that falls on Makawao, and yet only 2 miles separate the centers of each town. The name Pukalani means hole in the sky and refers to the common appearance of a clear spot in the middle of cloud cover over this area. Pukalani offers shopping and services which include groceries, auto parts, banking, restaurants, doctors, dentists, and of course, pizza! The Pukalani Golf Course and Country Club offers golf enthusiasts the chance to pursue their game over 18 holes on 160 acres in truly Olympian splendor. The golf course is surrounded by a nice subdivision of several hundred single-family homes on quarter-acre lots. There is always selling activity here, with lots of homes available from which to choose.
Old wooden buildings and a country atmosphere help convey Makawao's colorful roots as a center for ranching activity. Makawao's quaint shopping opportunities offer fashions, jewelry, gifts, books, and the more traditional feed and grain. Additional restaurants, coffee houses, and health food stores add to the abundance of upcountry retail establishments. In Makawao, you can find live entertainment after dinner, classes in massage, meditation, and nutrition, and a splendid opportunity to study the fine arts at the Hui Noiao Arts Center.
Public and private schools, a public library, and community centers are all available here. And there's a relaxed, friendly sense of community that makes living here a little bit different from the city or the busier seaside communities. Virgil, what can we expect in housing?
The options for home buying in Makawao include old plantation houses on tiny lots, spacious homes built 80 years ago to house plantation managers, and more familiar contemporary homes on quarter-acre lots. Here's an example of a contemporary family-style neighborhood. It features single-family homes and cottages on half-acre lots. There are tennis courts and a community barbecue facility. The agriculturally zoned region known as Olinda stretches up the mountain from the heart of Makawao. Eucalyptus trees, rolling pasture land, seclusion, and panoramic views are common.
Thanks, Virgil. As we leave Makawao town and continue down country toward the north shore of Maui, we'll pass through the broad rolling countryside known as Haiku.
Both large and small enterprises pursue agriculture in this well-watered region. You can find vacant land in areas of Haiku at prices that are often lower than the price of acreage in Kula or any of the sunnier seaside areas. The reason is rain. This area receives between 40 and 100 inches of rain annually, with big variations over small distances.
Many residents enjoy and depend upon this volume of rain. It is great for the food and flower crops. Life in Haiku proceeds at a very gentle pace. The lush landscapes and open spaces foster a peaceful, tropical feeling. Virgil, can you add to this subject?
Well, Leilani, let's see. Public and private schools, community center, and country-style shopping are all nearby. The drive into town is between 20 and 30 minutes. Choices for homes are abundant. You can find a subdivision with underground utilities or an executive home on 2 acres. You can find a romantic plantation shack and likewise the opportunity to buy or build a mini ranch on many acres.
Here we are on the beach at Kuau Cove.
Well, David, which way should we head from here? Out Hana Way or in toward town?
I think we should take a break for lunch.
Do we have time for that? We've got a lot of ground to cover.
Let's cover it from here. Virgil can help us out while we fortify ourselves for the next leg of the journey.
Great idea.
Consulting Virgil's map, we see the Hana Highway stretching off to the east toward Hana and to the west toward the airport and Kahului beyond. This is a good time to brief you about the way that local folks describe directions.
Although you are accustomed to using north, south, east, and west for expressing directions, islanders seldom use these references. It is more common here to give directions relative to the ocean, the mountains, and the names of places. Before contact with the Western world, the Hawaiians had no metals, no magnetic iron, and no compass. Their directional references were naturally based on their island environment.
The Hawaiian term Makai indicates the direction toward the ocean, and the term Mauka indicates the direction towards the nearest mountains. For example, if we sit here and look in the Makai direction, we would see palm trees, a nice beach, and the ocean beyond. If we turn toward the Mauka direction, we would see cane fields stretching up a slope, and in the distance, the summit of Haleakala, which we left a short time ago.
This is just what we needed.
You're right, I was famished. Say, Virgil, why don't you explain to our friends what lies down the road toward Hana?
Alrighty then. Although the real estate district divisions usually group the North Shore communities with upcountry, they are actually quite different. As you look in the Hana direction through the further reaches of Haiku and Huelo, you will find that some county services are not yet fully available. Many of the side roads are unpaved, and many homes obtain their household water by catchment system. In some locations, it is most cost-effective to create household electricity from solar, wind, and generator sources. This has not deterred people who love it here. There are many newly built, spectacular, custom-designed homes with all the modern conveniences, fabulous views, and complete privacy. Continuing out to the communities of Wailua and Keanai, rainfall averages over 100 inches each year, which is very handy if you are into taro farming. Life is simpler here, remote from any of the municipal or resort amenities.
Virgil, let's turn around now and take a look in the other direction towards the Central Valley.
Okay, David. Looking from your location on the beach at Kuau towards town, we will pass through Kuau, Paia, and Spreckelsville. Kuau is a small area of beachfront residential development on the outskirts of Paia. As you drive into town, you notice Paia has been fortunate to retain its charm and character. Paia was an important hub of plantation activity back when sugar was king in Hawaii. Although those days are gone, sugar is still cultivated all around this area and contributes to its beauty. During the 1930s and 40s, over 10,000 plantation workers called Paia home, and they all shopped on these streets and some of these same buildings. Today, these shops are quaint boutiques, art galleries, and restaurants, delighting visitors from all over the world. Kuau and Paia enjoy a moderate average rainfall of about 30 inches annually. Fewer than 3,000 permanent residents make their home between here and Spreckelsville. There are churches, schools, modest shopping, a fire station, and a post office in Paia. The windsurfing activity on Maui drives a unique segment in the local economy and gives a big boost to the local businesses. The hottest spot on Maui for this sport is Ho'okipa, near Kuau. Single-family homes on lots ranging from 5,000 to 10,000 square feet are common, and everything is near the ocean. Many wooden houses survive from the plantation days, and some of them are treasures. Outside of Paia, there is an upscale residential neighborhood with lots of ocean frontage, a country club, golf course, and easy access to the opportunities in central Maui. Spreckelsville is named after its founder, the sugar baron Klaus Spreckels, who was once a close friend to King David Kalakaua.
Shall we go now? It's time to explore Maui's Central Valley.
In 1778, Captain James Cook was the first European to report sighting the island of Maui, and he did so from the ocean near here. Although Lahaina was the hub of island industry during the whaling days, enhancements to the harbor here during the 1800s caused Kahului to replace old Lahaina town as the center of Maui's transportation, industrial, and commercial activity. It seems appropriate that we begin our examination of the Central Valley here, at the new Maui Arts and Cultural Center in Kahului. This recently completed facility represents a breakthrough accomplishment on the part of the entire community. It provides Maui with a modern and complete performing arts center and serves as a gathering place for the many cultural and artistic traditions that make up our island society. Artists from all over the world will perform here, and like you, they will arrive by air.
Kahului Airport offers a choice of several carriers for travel inter-island or out of state. Over 2 million visitors a year pass through this facility. There are direct flights to many mainland cities, and the 17-minute flight from here to Honolulu allows direct connections for people and freight to many other mainland and international destinations. Virgil, would you display our information regarding Central Maui?
The combined communities of Kahului and Wailuku are now home to about 35% of Maui's permanent residents. Living and working between these two towns is quite convenient. The Central Valley area offers dozens of churches of all denominations. There are also many public and private schools. Kahului and Wailuku each have a fire station and a post office, and the police headquarters is here. Several major shopping centers contain everything you would expect, and there are additional specialty stores and discount outlets around town. If you're shopping for variety or comparing prices, you'll often find more choices here. The shopping centers feature everything from big national chains to unique mom-and-pop shops. This is also the site of the Maui Community College, a 2-year school administered by the University of Hawaii. Just Mauka of Kahului is Wailuku. This is the center of county, state, and federal government. Maui Memorial Hospital is located right between the two towns and provides modern medical facilities that serve all of Maui County's residents. Ambulances are stationed at the hospital and in Lahaina, Kihei, and upcountry, and helicopter air ambulance service is available. It's hot in the summer and relatively warm in the winter. Until the land rises up the West Maui Mountains, this area receives only between 15 and 25 inches of rain per year. From the foothills on up, there is increasing cloud cover and rain. The Central Valley boasts several theaters, a sports stadium, a golf course, tennis courts, gymnasiums, and lots of parks. Large-scale residential development beginning in the 1950s resulted in a sizable migration of workers from plantation housing toward new homes that they could own themselves. Kahului Town development includes thousands of single-family homes within a broad residential band surrounding the community's industrial and commercial core. Most lots are between 5,000 and 8,000 square feet in size. Wailuku offers a mixture of older and sometimes historic structures, with new construction ranging from affordable condominiums to executive luxury homes.
It's time now to travel around the West Maui Mountains to the Lahaina side. As Virgil will show us, there are 2 routes. The southern route is the one most commonly used by commuters because of its shorter travel time and smoother road. Today, we're going to take the northern route just for fun.
You mean Kahakuloa way.
Thank you, Virgil.
Just outside of Wailuku, as the road heads out towards Kahakuloa, the residential communities of Waiehu and Waihe'e overlook the ocean. This part of Maui is considered pretty remote, and the road is rougher and slower than the route around the other side. If you're looking for a place to get away from it all, take a peek out here.
Home to about 16% of permanent Maui residents, the west side of Maui is Lahaina side. Visitor accommodations on this sunny coast were first offered here at the historic Pioneer Inn nearly 100 years ago. The development of this area now extends up the coast to Kapalua, and everything in between is geared to make visitors happy.
Lahaina has a rich, colorful, and bawdy history. It was a major port of call for the sandalwood traders, the whalers, and then the missionaries, businessmen, imported laborers, and pioneers from all over the world.
Lahaina Town today offers great food, unique shops, art galleries, live music, and lots of fun. It was a party town 150 years ago, and it's still a party town today. Virgil, will you bring up our Lahaina file?
Well, for for the basics. Shopping centers and specialty stores are numerous. Lahaina's public and private schools will provide education through the high school years. The Lahaina Luna School is the oldest high school west of the Rockies. There are many churches on the west side, some of them historic sites. There are also fire and police stations, post offices, and limited health care and municipal services in this area. Cloud cover is rare, and the sun shines most of the time. From almost any spot on the Lahaina side, we enjoy blue skies and the majestic sight of other islands floating in the distance. Annual rainfall averages about 15 inches per year in Lahaina town, with dry years under 10 inches. There is seldom more than a gentle breeze. Sometimes highs flirt with 90. Average wintertime lows stay above 60. There are still large areas of West Maui dedicated to agriculture, and many properties enjoy views of the ocean on one side and sugarcane or pineapple fields on the other side. This provides a wonderful sense of wide open spaces surrounding the narrow strip of resort zone development along the shoreline. The ocean is the major attraction here. The beaches in Hawaii belong to the people, and most are easily accessible. County-maintained beach parks with picnic facilities and easy parking dot the shoreline. Some of the best restaurants in the state are located here, with choices so numerous that the dedicated diner will have to return to Maui many times to fully explore what Maui chefs have to offer. Live entertainment is offered in various resort facilities, restaurants, and at the Lahaina Civic Center. You can find something happening any night of the year in West Maui. High-density zoning permits the building of homes on small lots so that the high demand for building space near the ocean can be accommodated. Real estate in West Maui is typically more expensive than comparable property in the Central Valley. Of course, there are far too many homes and vacation properties on Maui to be fully explored in this video presentation. We're sure you want to make the most informed purchase decision possible. To do this, you simply must have the help of a realtor familiar with Maui properties. For the vacation or second home buyer, condominiums offer the opportunity to spend a maximum amount of time enjoying life on Maui and a minimum of time spent maintaining the home and grounds. 1- and 2-bedroom condos are most common, although studio and 3-bedroom units can also be found. Although there are condominiums scattered all over the island, they are most commonly found in West and South Maui. Low-rise condos and planned developments in relaxed garden settings will appeal to many. Some of them include pools, clubhouse, or beachside pavilions and tennis courts. High-rise condominiums often feature spectacular views and additional amenities. Some include central air conditioning, multiple pools, jacuzzis, putting greens, and underground parking. Some of West Maui's most desirable beachfront condominiums are located on leased land. This is a common practice in Hawaii and simply means that owners of houses or condominiums located on leased land do not have a permanent or absolute title to the land itself. They instead have the relatively unencumbered use of the land subject to the terms of the lease. The most familiar alternative to a leasehold estate is a fee simple estate, in which the homeowner has absolute title to the land beneath the home. As we travel north along this shore, the amount of annual rainfall increases. The temperatures are also more moderate and the breezes more frequent.
The Kapalua area is very beautiful and was once home to a large Hawaiian community. Much of the land here is owned by Maui Land and Pineapple Company, one of the big private landowners on Maui. This company diversified some years ago into resort development on thousands of acres of land around Kapalua.
Today there are 2 luxury resorts and many types of homes built in this serene environment. There are 5 golf courses around West Maui, and the most spectacular of them are here at Kapalua. Golfing enthusiasts will almost always find great weather, great scenery, and plenty of new friends. World-class tournaments are held here each year. The housing options range from basic but well-designed condominium units to an exclusive single-family home subdivision with a security perimeter. Most of the properties in Kapalua enjoy excellent views as well as the availability of nearby resort amenities.
These developments at Kapalua are an example of a comfortable and well-planned community.
Okay, David and Leilani, time to head south.
Our route from west to South Maui will take us along the leeward shore past beaches and rocky cliffs that are among the best land-based whale watching areas in the state. This is one of the most favored birthing grounds of the humpback whale, which scientists tell us is finally making a comeback from its endangered status.
The French explorer La Perouse is credited with being the first European to set foot on Maui. In 1786, he landed at the Southside Bay, which now bears his name. The Hawaiians live comfortably here, making their living from the ocean's abundance. But for a long time, there was little to attract new settlers to Kihei, Wailea, and Makena. By 1930, fewer than 400 people lived in this region.
This is difficult to imagine today because South Maui has become such a bustling center for tourism and ocean activities. We're back on the beach at Makena, known on Maui as Big Beach. Virgil, would you like to show us the South Side file now?
You bet I would, David. South Maui's coastal neighborhood offers a dozen churches, public and private schools through the intermediate level, and many shopping centers and specialty stores. There's a fire station, a post office, and a police substation in Kihei. Only 10 to 15 inches of rain per year and occasional cloud cover interrupt the nearly constant sunshine bathing the coast between Ma'alaya and Makena. Trade wind patterns result in a breeze that passes over the Central Valley and toward the ocean to the south. Winds are more pronounced at the Ma'alaya end than at the Wailea end. The daytime temperatures are almost always between 75 and 90 degrees. This helps explain why the South Maui shore, like the Lahaina side, is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Fabulous sandy beaches and calm waters invite windsurfing, snorkeling, and other variations on sunbathing. The existing development is concentrated in a narrow band close to the ocean and consists mainly of resort, residential, and commercial usage. About 17% of Maui's permanent residents live here, and about half of the visitors to the island stay in accommodations on the south side. The development of new housing is likely to be greater here in the future than in some other parts of Maui. Residents of Maui's South Shore enjoy a local selection of supermarkets, physicians and dentists, movie theaters, and specialty shops of all kinds. Ma'alaya sports a convenient harbor from which whale watching, sailing, and deep-sea fishing excursions can operate. There are many restaurants in the neighborhoods from Ma'alaya to Kihei and Wailea. The Maui Research and Technology Park is the result of a community effort to attract clean industries and create professional employment. It offers small businesses and community groups access to advanced business support and education, telecommunications and computing technology, and a site for the foreign trade zone. Golfers will stay busy, sampling the challenges presented by the 6 golf courses which adorn the landscape in Kihei, Wailea, and Makena. Homes and vacation retreats are many and varied. Some of Maui's most affordable housing opportunities will be found here in subdivisions stretching along the Pi'ilani Highway in Kihei. They feature small lots, generally between 5,000 and 10,000 square feet. In some cases, buyers select from a menu of models that have been designed in advance by the developer and are built quickly and efficiently. In other cases, the buyer commissions an architect who custom design the home and then shops for a builder from among the many available on Maui. In addition to new subdivisions, there are many homes in established neighborhoods. Some offer that dream come true, living in a house right on the water. There is a large selection of condominium apartment complexes. Most are within walking distance of the beach. These are examples of highly affordable, low-rise condominium projects. The amenities are limited in this price range, but this type of property offers a practical first home purchase and modest association dues. Then we have examples of properties offering more amenities, views, and security. Naturally, they have correspondingly higher prices. Here you will find pools and tennis courts, as well as better views and a short walk across the street to Kihei's famous beaches. The Wailea Makena area offers an excellent sample of the high end of condominium life. Spacious, well-equipped apartments rise above the well-manicured grounds. Some offer underground parking and central air conditioning. The Wailea Development Company has master planned and developed an entire community which serves as a beautiful example of a well-designed low-rise condominium complex. Although although there are hundreds of units in this development, skillful design and artful landscaping have created a community that is pleasing to the eye and soothing in its tropical ambience. At the pinnacle of luxurious condominium living, you will get acres of prime oceanfront splendor, separate enclosed garages, boat garages, pools, barbecues, indoor racquetball and gym, tennis courts, and whirlpool spas. There are several gated projects here in Wailea, which will appeal to those who require a high degree of privacy and security.
Thank you, Virgil. Now, with Virgil's help, we're going to show you the Hana side of Maui.
Virgil, run the Hana file, okay?
Although the southern route through Kanaio and Kaupo is often passable in good weather, the route around the northern side of Haleakala is much more reliable.
Even this route requires about 4 hours if you're going too fast, and all day if you stop to enjoy the scenic opportunities along the way. This is not the place to live if you need to commute to regular commitments elsewhere on Maui. This region is home to fewer than 2,000 of Maui's permanent residents, though it is visited by many tourists every month. Hana exudes a peaceful and renewing magic that affects almost everyone in a positive way.
The most common use of the land here is agriculture and ranching. There is also a beautiful and famous resort that was one of the first on Maui. As is true for all of Maui near sea level, nighttime temperatures seldom fall below 60 degrees, and daytime highs usually range between 75 and 80 degrees. Near sea level in Hana, annual rainfall ranges from 70 inches to over 100 inches in a wet year. Rainfall increases dramatically with elevation. There are a few churches, Hana High and Elementary School, grocery and general stores, and a fire department and post office, as well as a police substation. Hiking, beachcombing, archaeology, and quiet pursuits are all well supported in this remote area. It is a great place to spend some time studying Hawaiian history, writing a novel, or resting your soul. Hana offers few modern amenities along the lines of shopping or entertainment, and is not the place for folks who bore easily or want several options for restaurant dining followed by an evening out on the town. Single-family homes range from old tin-roofed wooden structures to new exotic luxury homes on the ocean or secluded acreage. There is even one condominium right on a beach.
Most of the folks who live in the Hana area don't want it to change. We agree, it would be wonderful indeed if Hana could maintain that secluded and old-fashioned Hawaiian feeling.
We hope you found the tour helpful. By now, you probably know which parts of Maui you'll be interested in exploring when you next visit. It's time to give you some insights into the specifics of real estate transactions in our community.
The history of land ownership in Hawaii is unique among the United States. Hawaii is the only state to have once been united as a monarchy. Just a few short decades after Kamehameha I accomplished the unification of the kingdom, one of his successors, Kamehameha III, presided over the Great Mahele. This was legislation adopted by the evolving monarchy in 1846 that made possible the private ownership of Hawaiian land for the first time in history. The lands were divided among the king, his chiefs, the common Hawaiians, and some foreigners. It was a good time to be a friend of the king. Virgil, will you please run this section about issues related to purchasing property here?
Certainly, Leilani. I've got a big file for this section, and I'm raring to go. The state and federal governments have significant land holdings on Maui, but much of the land that was distributed during the mid-1800s is still controlled by a small number of private companies. Of that 72% held by private owners, the great majority of it consists of parcels of 5,000 acres or larger, owned by corporations, estate foundations, and big ranches. As we have seen, this still leaves plenty of properties for you to choose from. If you want to be efficient while shopping and well-informed when you make your decision, you really must employ the services of a licensed realtor. Realtors can provide you with many important services. These include supplying you with current information and local contacts for property-related services, assisting you in evaluating the issues, documents, and advice you get from others, and of course, in negotiation. Most realtors subscribe to the multiple listing service, which provides them with ready access to information on all properties which have been listed for sale with participating brokers. The new multiple list computer service on Maui is one of the most modern in the nation. Today, the agent can search through the huge database of information to sort out a list of properties that match the criteria you have established. Oh, you know how much I love a good database. You can generate a detailed list of information on properties. Many eliminations can be made from that list before you start driving around inspecting properties, saving you a lot of time. Over a span of many years, property values on Maui have steadily increased. Property prices today range from under $100,000 for a small condo into the millions for prime oceanfront luxury homes. We have avoided specific reference to the price of properties because only the most current and accurate price information will be useful to you, and that information is best provided by a licensed realtor. Most realtors will ask you to make a pre-qualification visit with a local lender. This simple procedure is helpful to all parties because it ensures that the properties you are shown fit your budget. Mortgage loans are available from many sources, and your decision on which to use should be based on the personalized service you can expect and the lender's reputation in the community, not just the quoted rates. It is important to remember that mortgage rates and points change daily in the national markets. Comparisons between lenders must be based on quotes obtained on the same day. Sometimes the realtors will offer a list of lenders to talk to, and some will leave you to your own research. In any event, the choice of lenders is yours to make. In Hawaii, we use escrow companies to serve as neutral third parties to real property transactions. Their job is to handle the money, documents, title search, and legal coordination of the details. They follow the instructions agreed to by both parties at the time the purchase contract is executed. Their schedule of fees is related to the size of the transaction and complexity of documentation. You may participate in the selection of escrow companies if you wish. If you will want a mortgage to finance your purchase, the lender will require fire and wind coverage adequate to replace the structure. If you are not already familiar with an insurance company which can provide the desired coverage, your realtor may be a source of local insurance agents for you to consult. It is generally considered wise to have a qualified home inspection service look at any property for which you are considering making an offer. Their report can alert you to maintenance, structural, or environmental issues that you should know about before making a commitment. If repairs or improvements to a property are contemplated, your realtor may provide suggestions for licensed contractors to consult. If you have purchased and sold properties before, you may feel qualified to evaluate all of these issues without assistance, and this is certainly your privilege. Many buyers benefit from the services available from a broker or sales agent. For example, you may want help deciding whether you should have a property surveyed, or perhaps you'll need help determining the zoning for a property you are considering allows the uses you have in mind. Ask your agent what kind of advice he or she is qualified to give. Real estate agents are prohibited from offering those types of advice which are outside the area of their experience and licensure. Legal and accounting advice, as well as estimates of repair and construction costs, must be obtained from individuals licensed to provide those services in Hawaii. One of the most important suggestions we can make may seem obvious, but is often neglected. You should read carefully any and all documents associated with the purchase of real property. There are different ways of employing realtors, with varying degrees of representation available from them. This subject is worth your close inspection. We suggest you obtain a copy of the informative pamphlet, Working with a Real Estate Broker, produced by the Hawaii Real Estate Commission. Some of the other issues that warrant your further research are insurance, real property taxes, which are low on Maui, leasehold properties, and special considerations involving condominiums. When you buy a condominium, you are purchasing the complete individual possession and use of a cubicle of airspace. You are also buying an interest in the common elements of the project, which are shared equally by all the other owners of condominium units in the project. When considering the purchase of a condominium apartment, ask your realtor to provide you with copies of all the pertinent documents describing the project and the factors affecting your use of a unit purchased there. If you want to receive more information about Maui, be sure to return the reply card that came with your official version of the tape to your realtor. Well, here we are at the end of my report. I'll summarize what we've covered today. You have seen many of the neighborhoods on Maui, and by now you probably have an idea which part of Maui you would enjoy calling home. We've mentioned some topics related to the purchase of real property here that you will want to research further. And I think we've shown you enough of the beauty and magic of Maui to remind you why having your own place in paradise is so inviting. Well, that's about it, Leilani.
Boy, that was a mouthful, Virgil.
Well, thank you, Leilani. Is there anything else I can offer before I shut down to optimize my bubble memory?
Thanks, Virgil. Well done.
Mahalo for all your help. Take a rest.
Well, our tour is over. It's Pauhana time. Now it's up to you to choose your own place in paradise. The next step is to call your realtor here on Maui and explore your specific questions. Let him or her know about your criteria for a potential purchase and ask what can be found to make your dreams come true.
Follow your heart, and perhaps we'll meet here on the beach someday. Good luck in all your adventures on Maui, and aloha from all of us.